Welcome back to my channel, guys. My name is Veronica. From the title or the thumbnail, you know that I just want to address everyone that will be going for their PTDF interview. Congratulations to everyone that made it to this stage. I'm glad that you were able to scale through the first stage and you're here now preparing for your interview stage. And to everyone that could not make it through the application stage, do not be discouraged. Do not feel too down, because now you know what that stage entails in terms of preparation, in terms of, putting in a good application. All you have to do is just to make it stronger and just to prepare better for the next application process. Also, you can broaden your net, widen your search, and check for so many other scholarships that might be going on within the year and prepare ahead as well. But trust me, do not feel too bad, because you have so many other options of scholarships to apply to. So this video would address everyone that is going for the interview. My aim here is just to tell you about how to go about your preparation. Honestly, I have been receiving a whole lot of DMs, a whole lot of mails. People have been reaching out to me on LinkedIn and Instagram and YouTube. Everyone just wants to know about how to scale through the interview, how to successfully go through the interview. And my first point, or what I would mention first, is for you to watch my PTDF video, the full PTDF video. In that video, I stated how I got the scholarship. I stated the questions that was asked during the interview. I stated how everything went to the panel. But when I went back to that video, I noticed that there were some other things that I did not include. And also, I've gotten some other few questions from people. And then I decided that, okay, let me just do a quick video to address you. So it's going to be like a backup video. But this one is just going to address the interview, because the first video I made addressed both the application, the interview, the schools I picked, and a whole lot of that. I also have another video where I spoke about what next after the PTDF application process. So please make sure to watch all of that. Watch my full PTDF story video. Watch that video where I talked about 3 other things you can do while waiting. I would link them up on top here somewhere on the screen so that you can easily get those videos. But for today, I'm just going to make a backup video just to address some few other things that I might have missed in the first video. But that one is it's detailed enough. I talked about the questions I was asked, so I'm not even going to go to that point. I'm just going to probably narrate how I was able to go through that day of the interview, not necessarily the questions, because I got a number of questions that were not really about the questions asked, but some other things that would help the interview seamless for you. That's what I'm going to be doing in this video. So if you have not subscribed, kindly subscribe. This channel will be one that you want to keep very close to you because of the kind of information I'll be bringing across in the coming weeks and months. And also just make sure that you're subscribed and make sure that you turn on the notification bell. And then I would be sure to also update you on all of the information we need in the coming weeks, especially for those that would scale through the interview, right? You scale through the interview and then you become PTDF scholars. You need many more information, and I would be glad to help with that with subsequent videos. So please stay tuned and subscribe. Okay, share my video as well to people that would need it, and yeah, you'll be helping people. Also like the video as well. So let's delve into today's video. If you see me looking down, I am just trying to read the questions that I got within the last few days from my phone. I just actually picked the most important ones, and then I'll be answering them very briefly in this video. After the application, you get to the interview stage. You're going to be allocated to either of the 3 interview locations. One is Abuja, one is Ibadan, one is Port Harcourt, and I think a 4th option then would have been a virtual interview, but I am not quite sure if you guys have that option this year. I don't think you do, because none of the people that have reached out to me stated that they were going to be having a virtual interview. So it's now 3 major locations. So if you're in Lagos, you are not going to have one in Lagos because there is no location there. So you have to, depending on what you picked, okay, depends on what you chose. So they're not going to give it to you randomly. You choose a location, and then whatever location that you're given, it's better for you to go there. To be honest, I do not know what happens when you go to a location that was not assigned to you. I am not sure of what happens, but if for any reason you have to change your location, then you're supposed to change it within the time frame that was given to you when the first mail came to you. I think they gave a 2-day window for you to change your location and make some updates on your profile before they now send you the details of your interview. But yeah, that's just the background. That's just to tell you about how the location works. So try to make sure that you go to the location that was assigned to you. For me, I picked the Ibadan location, and that was where I had my interview. I'm also going to be talking about that location as well in this video, so that those going to the Ibadan location can have an idea of how things look there or what to expect there. Okay, so my interview was to be on a Friday by 11 a.m. and because I was working, I was actively at work physically, I couldn't go a day before, so I made sure that I woke up very early on that Friday morning and left Lagos. So someone asked me a question about whether to go to a location that is closer to family and if location matters, or what's the probability that it will affect your selection. And I'm like, there are 3 locations, and this is to ease people based on where they are, right? So you can't tell me that you are in Port Harcourt, you want to come to Ibadan because you think that it will favor you better. I do not think, honestly, I do not think that applies. Okay, go to the location that favors you in terms of where you can stay, how comfortable it will be for you to perform well in the interview. Okay, I don't think the location you go to determines if you'll be picked for the scholarship or not. Okay, I know people that are already PTF scholars that did their interview virtually, even if it's very risky, right? If you know that you are not somewhere that you have a good network reception and all of that, it's not advisable for you to go for the virtual interview. But that doesn't mean that it has not worked for people. I had good network reception or are in a very good environment that are not going to be affected by a power supply problem and all of that. So honestly, the location doesn't really matter. Go to where is most convenient for you, where you know that you can have where to stay, you can have easy transportation, to and from the interview center. Those are the things you should consider. I know people also that went to the Abuja location and got the scholarship. So honestly, just pick the center or go to the center that favors you the most. Okay, I'm going to go into all of the questions I got within the last few days, and then I will just answer them based on my own experience, and I hope that it addresses most of your questions. And if it doesn't, please ask me directly in the comments and I would answer you. The first question I got was, did they stick to the time slots for the interview, and how were you admitted into the interview hall? Were we called in by our names, or what was the technique they used to call you in for the interview? So for me, I got there early, like I got there very early, so I had to look for a space and come back later, a space to stay and wait while I wait time, and then come back later. So I noticed that when I came back, it was almost 11 already. So they already admitted everyone for 11 into a separate room, and then it is as you come in, you find your seat. So as you come in, that's how you'll be called into the interview or interview room. So when one person stands up from his seat, every other person will fill in the seat. The second person becomes the first, the third becomes the second. So we kept moving until we get to your turn. That's how it worked then for us. So when I got there, they were already addressing us, and that address is just to tell you how to arrange your documents. They'll tell you put your degree certificate first, put your NYC certificate next, just how to arrange it, just for easy access when and if it is asked for in the interview room. So we kept moving and moving and moving and moving and moving until it was, because I came in a bit late, until it was my turn to go in. So that answers both questions. Number one, did they follow the time slot? Yes, they did. I came in earlier when the 9 o'clock candidates were still being attended to, and I was told to come back at least 30 minutes before my time. So yes, the time slot will be stick to, and then how you'll be admitted into the interview room is by the seating arrangement, how you come. So if you come in early, you go in early. If you come in late, you go in late. So I am not sure if that is what will work for you. Things change. The whole year that has passed now, so do not be surprised if you go there and meet something different. But this was what mine looks like. Okay, so another question I was asked is, what is the dress code? And honestly, when I got the question first, I was a bit shocked, and then I got to the second time, I got to the third time, and I was like, okay, this question needs to be addressed. But really, I didn't overthink it when I was to go to the interview. It's an interview, so please dress corporate. If you want to wear a tie, wear a tie. If you want, there is no rule. Okay, let me just mention that nobody stated that this is what you must wear, but honestly, it's just proper for you to look corporate and well dressed. So I'm not saying you should wear a suit necessarily as guys. You can just wear a shirt, trouser, belt, polished shoes, socks, tie, and stop there. But if you want to be extra, right, you can put on your suit. But make sure you dress corporate, but be comfortable. Dress corporate and be comfortable. For me, I wore a blazer, a camisole, and a pant trouser, and I wore my flat shoe. So there were some people that came in heels. If you're comfortable, fine, but make sure that whatever you're wearing is corporate. A lot of gowns, a lot of skirts and blouses, right? Okay, so corporate, whatever it is you're wearing, just be corporate. Okay. Another question I got: will you be allowed to sit during the interview? Yes, you will be allowed to sit during the interview. Although when you go into the room, it's quite appropriate for you to wait for the panel to usher you to sit down. There's a seat in front of the panel. So this is how it is. It's a room. Okay, one side of the room has one panel, one side of this room. It's the same room. If you're entering, you can see one panel here, you can see another panel on the right. So depending on what seat is empty, that's when someone else will go and bring another candidate in. So when you go into the room, if you see that a seat is empty, just go there and go and have your interview. But it's just proper that you wait for the panel to tell you to sit. So when I got there, I just greeted everyone on the panel. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma. And I waited. So they'll tell you, kindly have your seat. So you sit. You've gone for interviews, right? This is how it works. I'm not saying if you sit down immediately it will reduce your mark. Not at all. I'm just telling you that was what I did. So yes, you would be asked to sit. You won't be standing in front of the panel. You'll be asked to sit in front of the panel to answer your questions. So someone asked me, does the location you choose, does it give you any chance? I don't know. That's the answer I would give to you. I don't know, but I do not think so. So whatever location you're choosing, let it be based on your comfort, what works for you, which one is closer to, if you have to sleep over, which one is closer to family, which one is just very comfortable for you to navigate based on your location. Proximity is what you should consider. I do not think you should be bothered about whether the location gives you a chance or not. What gives you a chance? They are your qualifications, which would have already made them call you for an interview, and then how you perform on the interview. Okay, so location shouldn't be a major problem for you. Someone asked me that were we told to submit any documents like transcripts, were we told to leave anyone behind, or they were just checked? For me, none of my documents was checked. I was just asked questions. But for those people that had their documents checked or asked for, they were only just, looked at and returned. Like they will just look at it and return it to you. Nobody's going to hold your transcript. Nobody's going to hold your certificate. Okay, so I would also advise that you have like 1 or 2 photocopies with you in case they want to just hold on to any. But trust me, I don't think anyone is going to hold on to your document or certificate. Nobody even asked for mine. But please take all of your documents. So someone asked, how was the Ibadan location? Were they hospitable? Were they nice? Okay, the location for me was okay. It was just perfect. It was fine. Everybody was minding their business. They just tell you what to do, and that's it. As long as you don't have any problem, that's fine. Just go into the room, wait for your turn, go into the interview room. Go into the initial hall or room that was prepared for people waiting for the interview. Wait for your turn, go into the interview room, answer your questions, and go home. That's it. There's nothing extra. Nobody's sharing anything for you. Yeah, I remember there's a registration that will happen before you go into the interview room. So you come with your PTDF, the invite that you get. There's going to be a number on the invite. I think they will ask for the last 6 digits of that number, and then they will register you, something like that, before you now go in for your interview. So yeah, make sure you print out that invite that you get. So I got a whole lot of messages stating that what are the pointers to scale through the interview. But everyone just wanted to know, and even when I referred them to my video of how I answered the questions, like, okay, yes, I watched your video, but can you just give me some more pointers that would help me scale through the interview? and I was like, okay, I'm going to mention it in this video. And I think I have just 5 of them, 5 major ones that would help you scale through the interview. The first one would be to get there early. Get there as early as you can so that you can be relaxed before it's your time for the interview. Like I told you, I traveled that day from Lagos, so it was quite a journey. And then the fact I got there earlier still did not guarantee that I was not a little bit fagged out and tired, right? So try to get there early to help you. So I was imagining that if I didn't get there early, how would I have still felt, because I would have been more tensed and all of that. So that's the first pointer. So these pointers, they are nothing related to the questions you're going to be asked, just major tips or few tips that can help you in the interview. If you need answers to the questions and how I answered them, please watch my full PTDF story. I do not want to be repetitive. Just watch that video. You get the questions I was asked during the interview and how I tackled it. I'll link it up again on the screen. So that's the first thing. Try as much as possible to get there early and be relaxed. The second thing would be to go straight to the point. When you get into the interview, or go straight to the point, don't parabolize. If you ask the question, go straight to the point, because the interview is going to be very, very short. The interview will not last up to 5 minutes, depending. For me, it wasn't up to 5 minutes. It was about 2 to 3 to 4 minutes. I can't really remember because I wasn't timing myself, but just being calculative of the time I spent in there, it wasn't up to 5 minutes. So go straight to the point so that you would give the interviewer the opportunity to ask you all the questions they have to ask you, and then you would also have the opportunity to answer, but make sure that you are as brief as possible, and then you go straight to the point. And another tip I'll give you is to listen to the question very attentively. I told you how short the interview will be, so if you are not listening and you're answering another question, meanwhile it was a different question that was asked, then that might not be a good pointer. Listen very attentively to the question and answer exactly the question that was asked you in a simple and concise manner. Okay, go straight to the point and listen attentively to the question. And the next tip I'll be giving you is to be calm. Be very calm. Okay, nobody is after you not passing or not scaling through the interview, but it all depends on how you tackle each of the questions. So practice, and be very calm. So I was telling someone as well that if you want to practice, just make sure that between now and the day of your interview, you look at the mirror, or you find someone that you can, practice with, do a mock with, and tell the person. But the mirror is your best bet, or maybe a recording. Put a video in front of you, record yourself answering some of the questions that I have answered in my interview, and then practice. Make sure that you have practiced each of those questions and any other question that you feel would be asked. Practice them so that you would master how to express yourself on the real day of the interview. So practice as much as you can. Do mirror talks, and get someone as well to listen to you if you can, and let them give you their review. And now I'm not even talking about what you're saying in terms of the questions you're answering, because that might not necessarily be the question that will come to you. I'm talking about your calmness, your delivery, and your expression in general. Okay, how concise you are, how straight to the point you are. Those are the things you should work on before your interview day. And I'm sure by the time you are there, all the practice you've done would help you to be more relaxed and calm to answer your questions. I think the last point I have for you is, do not hesitate to sell yourself. Do not hesitate to sell yourself. Don't think that selling yourself means that you're proud. You're trying to convince a number of people, 4 or 5 people. 4 or 5 people are looking at you straight in the eyes and they're like, okay, tell us about this thing. You have to convince every one of them. And so for you to be able to do that, you should be ready to sell yourself. Be ready to say that I have worked on this project and I have an idea of how this works, and then I believe that these skills, these experiences would help me to scale through in my field, and then use my skills to better my own country. And yes, sell yourself, because it's just you talking to 5 people, so be ready to convince them. But yeah, after giving you those tips, I think one major question you should practice the most out of every other question I mentioned in my first video, even though I mentioned I'm not going to talk about those questions, I would like to mention just one so that you can practice that. I believe that that's one question that keeps reoccurring from the conversations I've had with other PTDF scholars, or the videos I've watched, or the stories about them that I've listened for their interview, is how your chosen field benefits the oil and gas industry? How does it impact the oil and gas industry? Every other question will change or might change, but this one is one that reoccurs, and I want you to go and listen to how I answer that question in my video, PTDF full story video, and practice it based on your own course, because we are not necessarily going to be offering the same course or going for the same courses. So make sure that you know how your course impacts the oil and gas sector. That's one question I want you to practice. And trust me, if you do all of these things, all of the points I've given to you, you will be fine. It's very normal to be nervous. It's very normal to feel anxious as the day comes by quickly, but just remind yourself that it's just going to be 5 minutes of your life and you need to put in all your best. So do not allow your nerve to get in the way. Do not allow it to make you shiver, or to make it obvious that you're scared, or it's just take it as a normal interview that you would have, like a chat. So you have to convince these people, and you won't allow your nerves to get in the way. So it's very normal. When you tell me you're nervous, I was nervous as well. What would help you is to probably just do your breathing exercise, especially on that day, and then pray. Keep praying, keep muttering under your breath and telling God what you want him to do for you. I really do not know your religion while watching this, but whatever you believe in, whoever you believe in, ask for guidance and help from that person. God, apart from how much work you put into it, only God can favor, only God can put it in the heart of men to see that you are what they want. Okay, pray, tell God, ask for help from God, and ask for favor, ask for help. I'm sure that with all of the preparation that you've done and with prayers by the side, right, you will be able to scale through. Okay, so yeah, finally, before I go, I would want to address any other person that is coming back because they were not able to get to the interview stage, but they want to start preparing for the next batch of applications. Yeah, you are doing the right thing, and my heart goes with you. If you watch my first video, you notice I mentioned that I have been applying to scholarships. So PTDF was not the first one that I applied to, and I know how frustrating and tiring it can be, but do not give up. Do not give up. If you give up, then the probability that you're going to get a scholarship is now 0. But if you do not give up, there is still hope. There is still a likelihood that on your second trial, your third trial, one of those trials, you would get your scholarship. So, but one thing I would advise you to do is to keep building on your qualifications, keep building on that skill that you have. Do not let next year application meet you the same number of qualifications that you have this year. Make sure that you've built on it so that it's now much better, and then you are now a better fit for the scholarship. And then you can also broaden your horizon, search for other scholarships as well that you can apply to within the year. And then very soon you would also be called for an interview, and you would also be going home smiling. All right, guys, thank you so much for reaching out to me, and to everyone that said I inspired them in one way or the other to apply. I am glad. I am so glad that you at least gave yourself up to be inspired. Right? And then I am rooting for every one of you. Please reach out to me when you get your scholarships. I will be here to celebrate with you. I will be here to congratulate you, and we'll keep growing and moving from there. Okay, thank you guys for watching till this end. I appreciate you, and please subscribe if you have not. Share this video, and ensure that it gets to the right set of people. And I wish you all the very best in your interviews. I wish you all the very, very best in your interviews. Make sure that you practice everything I've said, and I'm sure that you will ace it. I'm rooting for you. Bye, guys.